Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Your favorite podcasting duo, the Hot Tag Podcast Duo, the best wrestling podcast in the world. If you don't already know, now you know. I'm Shake. I'm one of the hosts of the Hot Tag Podcast. As always, with me is my co host, Teddy. We got a lot to talk about this week. Vince McMahon is back in the WWE, at least for now. That's going to be something we talk about probably ad nauseum. And honestly, chat, if you're around and you wanna chime in on how you feel about it, I might get to you. We might get to your message. I like to read chat if it's pertinent and I like your point. I will read your message in chat. But yeah, there's also some other news in the WWE we'll go over. Mostly stuff looking ahead to the Royal Rumble a little bit. But the main focus of this week is Vince McMahon. But before we get into all of that, my co-host, Teddy, how we doing?
I'm here. I'm firing on all cylinders, and I'm ready to talk because I'm fired up. I'm fired up. And you know what? Actually, I'm lying. I'm lying, Shake. My morale is low. Morale is low, just like the WWE locker room. Because Vince McMahon is back, and morale is at an all-time low right now. And to be honest with you, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. I mean, just like, why would it not be? You know, a bunch of people who got fired by Vince, but then were brought back by Hunter, should feel like they're walking on eggshells. Vince McMahon is in control, and then people who love Stephanie, Stephanie's gone. Stephanie, and word has it, that before Stephanie stepped down, her and Vince were having disputes.
Yes.
And so they were having disputes, and so she stepped down. And I actually just heard, too, that Hunter had a meeting with the locker room.
Yeah.
And told them that he's still in control of creative and that him and Vince, but he said, here's an asterisk, Vince and him may talk about creative, but he has the final say at the end.
Okay.
Whoa. I don't give a damn what you say that Hunter has the final say at the end. I don't want Vince talking about creative at all.
Well, but yeah.
I stepped back and I said, well, this is the man that delivered us KO and Stone Cold last year.
Yep.
This is the man that heard that we wanted AJ and Edge, even though that wasn't as great of a match as we wanted it to be. It was still there. This is the man that gave us Cody and Seth. This is the man that gave us Bianca and Becky. You know, this is the man
that gave us one of the greatest champions of all time.
You know, who?
Roman Reigns. And
John
Cena.
Yes, he did.
And Hulk Hogan.
This is the yeah. Well, that's yes. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock. Yeah. This is also I'm talking about recently.
No,
this is the man that let Cody go into the Hell in a Cell. This is the man that also gave us, night one, Sasha versus Bianca. So there are some things. No, night one, main event of WrestleMania. I'm talking about that time.
Oh, 37?
Yes. Well, I'm just going back to some of his great booking things that he did.
38,
yeah. Because remember I already said Bianca and Becky. I already said Bianca and Becky. So he gave us these. He did give us some gems, and let's not forget, he booked the SummerSlam card.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah.
Hunter delivered the creative finishes that actually, which is why some people speculate. Me personally, the card was so underwhelming that it only had one way to go up, and that's where it went. And so it was like Hunter booked it so well and had the finishes go so well. But what I will say is, with Vince being back, this is where my expectations was. You can't even see it in the screen for WrestleMania. He's back, and now I'm kind of flat, and I'm just like, God, what in the hell? But I forgot. I was excited about WrestleMania before Vince left.
Yeah.
But I got to a new level of excitement. And I was the trust. I trusted that it was going to be good. And I trusted we had several art. Yeah. Hunter Mania. Now I don't know we're getting Hunter Mania.
No one does. It's kind of.
Well, we know.
It's kind of
WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia next year, for all we know.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll just go there right now. So the rumor circulated, what? Was it Wednesday night into Thursday, or was it Thursday night into Friday? Can't remember. Anyway, rumors started circulating earlier this week. I can say that definitely. Earlier this week, rumors started circulating that a Saudi ownership group, which is still kind of unclear to me with whether that it's run by the government or not, or if it's just
It's run by their government.
Okay.
That's a lot of things like that in Saudi are run by the. Remember, because the government has control of everything. It's not like America.
Oh, that's true. So it's like, so anyway, the Saudi government basically was trying to buy the WWE. And let's call it what it is. People wanted clicks, right? So they said, WWE is being sold to Saudis. Now, that was never really the case. Apparently, backstage, there was a laugh had about the notion that it was going to be sold to Saudis. There was a report that, the administration and stuff like that, were having a joke. Like, was there a bid made? I'm sure, because there's no.
Well, did you hear where the speculation came from?
No.
Supposedly, I heard backstage speculation within inner circles of the group chat was that because Stephanie stepped down, they believed it was being sold to Saudi because if Saudi did purchase the company, Stephanie couldn't be in power.
Yeah. I mean, but Stephanie also got surgery immediately after, so.
Yes. Well, part of it, I think, remember, she took a leave of absence before she had to come back.
Yes.
So part of it was that. She was like, all right, well, Dad's back, I'm leaving. And then part of it was like, well, you know what? Part of it was probably that. And then she had, and the fact that she argued with her dad before she left, the reports are out. We don't know if this is true or not. Part of it was probably like, I could see if it was an argument. It was like, Dad, you coming back is not what's best for business. And if you're going to do this, then I'm out because I can't just keep doing this with you. Kind of probably like with, Charlotte Flair and her dad's situation where, she's just like, Dad, yeah, I'm worried you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah. And well, what happened, it was reported that her and Vince butted heads, and that was part of the reason she stepped down, because at that point, they couldn't work together, because I think Stephanie saw the things Vince chose to not see, mostly about himself. You said, in the situation where Charlotte said, Dad, what the fuck? I think that's where Stephanie came to. But I don't know. It's not good. But no, WWE is not being sold to Saudis. That there's never a deal in place. Is there a bid? Yeah, there is, but there was never.
Reportedly, the top bidder right now is Comcast.
Yes, it is. There's also there's a lot of talks, but back to the friction between Stephanie and Vince. Nick Khan was co-CEO specifically as a buffer between Stephanie and Vince.
I've heard that.
Yeah, because they couldn't work together. He was the middleman between them, and so now that Vince is back, I think Steph got tired of that relationship, because how shitty is that? You can't work with your boss, and there's now a co-CEO because you can't work with your boss because it's your dad. Like, that's shitty. I wouldn't want to be in that position.
What I say is, it's a known thing that working with family doesn't really work out too great, and that people butt heads. When you work with family, it's a risky business. So what I will say is, Vince controlling and crazy madman, yes, but working with family in general is not easy, and so I can really see where the issue came with that. I understand the buffer. I understand Steph won the lead, but here I want to pose something to you, and it's a sympathy towards Vince. I truly believe that this is not a matter of it's a matter of control, but I also believe this is a matter of life or death. I believe if Vince stays retired for too long, he will die.
Oh no. Let me get out the violins that an old rich man is gonna die.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen, I get it. It's a little callous to say, but let's not pretend like he's not old as shit and like, uh, dude. Everybody needs to know when it's time to fucking ride off into the sunset. Were we not, before he came back, starting to turn our attitude about him? We're starting to like remember the good parts of Vince McMahon and forget all the bullshit. But the minute he comes back, every single negative thing that we ever thought about him, even passively, has been waved in our face this past week. He's been used illegal tactics to get back to a position that he resigned from. He tried to coerce board members out. He stuffed the board with people that would vote yes for him. Like, he's now being sued by WWE shareholders by how he tried to get back in the business. So he may not even legally be allowed to stay. This has so many layers to it, and he's so greedy. His ego is unbelievable, because that's what this is. He doesn't want to see this succeed without him. His ego is so big, he'd rather see this go down in a giant ball of fire and be sold to whomever, and he makes billions off of it, than it succeed without him. That is the manifestation of what is happening.
I agree, but I also think, I really do believe it's also a man fighting for his life. Like, let's hear it. We've all heard it. Guys who've worked their entire life, never took a day off. The moment they retire, within a year they're dead, because they can't stop. They don't know how to live without it, and something happens emotionally. They croak. And I think Vince has been going so fast for so long that if he does, I can't imagine, like, certain. That's why you see old people pick up hobbies and stuff like that. You just see it. They break down real quick and go real fast when they retire, or they pick up another hobby sometimes, because they just.
Well, dude,
people and Vince. No, and Vince, what does Vince's days off look like when he wasn't working? Sitting at home wishing he was working. What is he? Is Vince golf? Does he spend 12 hours in the gym? What's he do? He doesn't go to the beach? What is Vince going to do? Vince has no life but to work. He doesn't know what to do. What is he going to go play shuffleboard?
Listen, I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying he can't be involved with the business at all. It's his. He created this thing. I feel like I say it every week. There's not there's no Hot Tag podcast without Vince McMahon. I get it. I would love to see Vince McMahon in the documentaries backstage just talking to people at every show. Be Pat Patterson. Be a guy everybody likes. You're walking around, shaking hands, kissing babies, telling stories all day, fucking maybe like giving some people some advice. Enjoy your fucking glory days. You're ruining it. You're ruining your product. You're ruining your image of yourself. This is not what he thinks is going to happen. What's happening? This is not. He thinks that we're going to be like, oh, Vince is back. Yay, oh my God, he's going to fit. Everybody is so upset. There was a report coming out that the mood in the locker room was, quote unquote, very depressing when they found out Vince was back.
Yes, but the moment his ass gets back in control, they're going to go right back to kissing his ass. Well, and guess what? Well, as soon as his music hits in an arena at a SmackDown or Raw taping, the crowd's going to go wild. Despite how we feel about him, people go wild for some reason.
It won't be me.
You know, you'll be the one in the crowd that's not cheering. You know, what is it? The 10 of you that's like, no, this guy's a horrible person. No, we're not doing that. I mean, there'll be 10 of you. But the casual viewer, the person who doesn't, look at it like us, they're gonna be like, it's Vince McMahon. That's it. Unfortunately, that's just the way how it works.
Well, you know what,
Vince,
Teddy? If
Vince believes around, it, like if the man who was accused of sexual misconduct allegations
Left, right,
went
and
out
goddamn center.
the very next day or the week after on Raw and SmackDown just to say, you can't touch me.
Literally.
Pretty much. Literally went out there and just said, then, now, and forever. AKA talking to those women. Then, now, and forever, I'll be touching you inappropriately, and I'll still be in charge.
And you can go fuck yourself. He's just
Pretty much.
such a piece of shit. And, like, here's the thing, though, Teddy. If he stays around, there's going to be no arenas for his music to play in. It's going to be gone.
Is it, though?
Listen, you and I have been WWE fans since we were children. We've been Vince/WWE apologists for things we probably shouldn't have for a long time. We said this week, time to start watching AEW.
I've been watching the last 3 weeks.
And
but
I finally said, time to start watching AEW. Because if Vince McMahon continues to stay around, it's just going to go back to the same bullshit that it was, and I'm not interested in that.
This is what I'll tell you, Shake, and this is why we're going to go back. And this is why WWE is still around strong. It's not WWE itself. It's what is let me tell you. This is what AEW needs to get. They need to find us 2 staples that will continue to bring people back no matter how bad the product gets, no matter what. We'll go back time and time again because of the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. It's so big that we will continue to go back no matter how bad the product is. If we had watched in 10 years and someone said, hey, we'll watch the Royal Rumble, like, yeah, why not? We'll see who shows up.
Well, yeah, I mean, fine.
You'll watch WrestleMania. And because of that, we will always go back. And until AEW gets themselves something that is as big as...
back to. I'm telling you that. That is a very real possibility. There may not be something to go back to. Because if he sells it, we don't know what these new owners can is, an open-ended possibility. But we don't know what they will do.
What are they going to do? I mean, come on now. You know how that's a well-oiled machine that is a money-driven making machine.
You say that, but that top of it fell in half because of one man who wasn't even part of the company technically anymore.
Here's why. Whoever buys it, they see the value in it, and that's why they're going to buy it. They're not going to buy it to let it go to crap. And whoever owns it is probably... there's so many... Wrestling is such a generational thing that just about everybody's liked wrestling at some point in their life. Especially at this time. If you're an adult in America at this point right now in your life, at some point you've liked wrestling simply because of the Attitude Era. And if you're a young adult, the Ruthless Aggression Era was popular and strong. And even then, there's Hogan fans. I've had people my job is very diverse. And there is somebody who you would assume would not have watched wrestling said, oh, yeah, I watched it. I remember the days of Stone Cold and The Rock. But I'd stopped watching it after that. And I was like, oh. But they loved it when they were kids. When I worked in high school, I switched down in New York City. I worked in a school. At urban school, people go, oh, yeah, I loved wrestling when I was a kid. I wish I still liked it right now. Because it brought me a lot of joy when I was a kid. That's just that. Wrestling, someone who owns the company is going to want to make it better. I mean, for God's sakes, Tony Khan's a wrestling, he loves wrestling, and he asked his daddy to buy him a damn team. Or maybe he bought it. I don't know, but goddamn, he asked his dad, and they started on AEW. So wrestling is just, I can't see it going. No matter who owns it, they're gonna want to make it go. And maybe it's a scary world right now. Of course, I always tell people, yeah, we're gonna sit here and nervous, just like we're nervous every 4 years when the presidential election is, and we don't know who's gonna take over. But does it ever get really that bad? It gets bad. It doesn't get that bad. Like it's like, oh, I think WWE is at that point where it's like, I mean, I know you disagree, but I just don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think this machine is so well oiled, it's going to take a lot to destroy it.
It depends. I didn't think it wouldn't take a lot, but you're telling me that I know this isn't happening. But if it was bought by the Saudi government, WWE does not go to hell in a handbasket, because it would.
Oh yes, that might be enough to
That's what I'm saying.
But
Something like
I think
that.
I think you only lose 10%. I think you only lose 10% of your fans, and then it depends on what happens with females drop. Then you're in trouble.
Man,
It still has to go right.
buddy, I don't know any moms gonna let their kids be going to WWE events though. I don't like, even if dad is cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not a family, if you don't win the women and the children, you're fucked, right?
Yes.
And the Saudis, not about the
Meanwhile,
women and the children. They don't exist to
yes.
Saudis. They are just pieces of property to Saudis.
That's that I will say.
That's the issue of it. It's like, if Disney bought WWE, I think it would thrive to all hell. I think it would be great. That was one of the companies that stepped up, was Disney ESPN Group.
I wonder. I've thought about that. I've gone back and forth. Sorry, I had to take that off for a day. I thought about that because Disney is at the point now where they're letting rated R content on their platform.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. I said, yeah, that probably wouldn't be too bad.
I don't know. Disney's in. I don't know if Disney would do it because they just switched. They just switched owners. Bob Iger's back in control of Disney. There's a lot of moving parts going on in Disney, so I don't know if they will. It'd be pretty forward of them. I mean, it wouldn't be dumb, but
it was Disney because of the ownership group, but I think ESPN was more interested in it. But ESPN is owned by Disney.
Yeah, ESPN is owned by Disney. They
But
could very well. They could, but like I said, they're in a rough spot right now.
ESPN was the first big news outlet to do WWE reporting.
I mean, ESPN and Disney owning Disney. Actually, you know what? You got a good point. Disney owning WWE could actually make it go way bigger mainstream.
I think it. Listen, people are like, "Oh, the mouse would affect the product." There's no way it gets worse than the PG era. There is zero way it gets worse than that. And there's no way Disney wouldn't be cool with a max TV 14 rating. There's no way that would be an issue. Because that's the worst it could get now.
Yeah, you think they'd go back to TV 14 under Disney?
For premium live events, maybe, yeah. I don't see TV going back that way unless something like once in a while, maybe. But yeah, I think it's going to be mostly PG.
Who owns Comcast? I don't know. Do I think it'd be great for the business? I don't see Disney doing it, but I could be wrong. Simply because
they asked for a reason. They're interested for a reason.
They are interested, but they got a lot going on right now. They got a lot going on, and that's the only reason why. I think if they were in a better position, they would, but they've lost a lot of money. That's why Warner Brothers is not going to buy it either. Warner Brothers can't afford to buy it right now. They're in a hole.
I think Disney would be okay, but yeah, that's the real. Well, the other big name that has come in interested in buying WWE is Tony Khan and Shad Khan.
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen that.
I would also be okay with that. Listen.
Give me 1 second, Shake. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
my phone is blowing off the hook.
Listen, I know I'm not a Tony Khan fan. I know I've been very vocal about Tony Khan. But he's not doing a horrible job. He took care of the tumor that was CM Punk. You know, that's settled. He's never going to wrestle for AEW again. I think he took care of that. And I think he answered some of my questions about being able to handle that. And I think AEW's in a really good spot. I know Teddy's been on it for the last few weeks. I started watching it this week, and, it's good. It's not that the reason I don't watch AEW is because I'm not invested in all the characters yet. The problem is I was never a big Danielson guy. I was never a big Jericho guy. I like CM Punk before he got older, and I like Mox. I like Moxley, so he's somebody I watch for. I love MJF. He's one of my favorites right now. Top three, I think, right now for me. I think Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and MJF, I think, are my three favorite. Ooh, KO's up there too, but anyway, I digress. AEW is doing really well, and I think, like, if you want to have it operate separately, great. But now, hello, Forbidden Door. Tell me you wouldn't want to see MJF versus Roman Reigns. Or John Moxley versus Roman Reigns. Kenny Omega versus Seth freaking Rollins. Ugh. How awesome would that be at the first ever WWE AEW Forbidden Door? Kenny Omega versus Seth freaking Rollins, man. I get jazzed up just thinking about it. I think that would be so cool. Then there's a lot of other possibilities too. You could do the Acclaimed versus the New Day. The Young Bucks versus the Usos. I don't know. Like, this sounds like it would go kind of crazy. I'd like to see Orange Cassidy in a match. The more I see of him, I like him a lot. But no, yeah, I think Tony Khan buying WWE would be very, very interesting.
I think it would be interesting. Not to jump in and cut you. I think it would be interesting, but I think we run into the same situation as we did with Vince owning everything. I don't think it's a good idea. We don't want a monopoly.
Well, monopoly, I get it, but what I would picture is Tony buys it, right? But he says to Hunter and everybody over there, keep doing exactly what you're doing, but Forbidden Door.
It'd be fun.
I said,
it'd be fun as hell.
Seth freaking Rollins versus Kenny Omega.
Seth Rollins, Kenny Omega.
The Acclaimed versus the New Day. The Young Bucks versus the Usos. That would be an absolute Mox versus Roman Reigns.
I'd love to see it. We got to build Mox back up, though. We got to give him a good reign and then let him.
Easy. That's so easy.
Yeah.
Dude, the crowd is nuts about him.
Yes, it is. Hey, listen, Forbidden Door AEW would be awesome. And here, hey, you know what's funny? I think AEW should rip off the Royal Rumble because I think they could do it better. And this is why I think they could do it better.
That too, yeah.
If they had their own version of Royal Rumble, they would do it better, and this is why. Because they're open to so many different promotions.
Yes.
Say someone from New Japan is hot, red hot. He can come in out of nowhere and, win the Royal Rumble from AEW and then go on to have main event their version of WrestleMania. And then, no, he doesn't have to win. Or maybe he does win, and maybe it's a new signing. It's like the possibilities are endless, which makes it so much more interesting.
Right.
Well, I would do a 40-man Royal Rumble because, WWE shouldn't do a 40-man Royal Rumble, but I think AEW should.
So, you brought up, the different brands and the different companies that are owned by AEW. How cool were all the invasions? The WCW invasion after Vince got that. And then the ECW invasion after that got brought into the fold. I would argue the ECW invasion was better because I feel like everything cool about the WCW invasion happened 7 years ago in WCW. But and but everybody had seen that already. But the ECW invasion, a lot of people were like, what the fuck and who the fuck are these guys? And it was awesome. That ECW invasion, Rob Van Dam, the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Sabu running amok on Monday Night Raw, beating the living fuck out of John Cena. I was stuck. I was like, Oh no! Oh no! And then of course you had like Jr. or not Jr. Jerry Lawler calling them instead of Extreme Championship Wrestling, extremely crappy wrestling.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I the possibilities are endless, and will it happen? I doubt it. I can't imagine Vince McMahon selling to Tony Khan. I think he would let it
Oh
because then he would
yeah.
have to accept defeat. That'd be like a defeat for him. He would rather die and make WWE die than sell the
I
Khan.
think you'd rather be shot in the face point blank.
Yes, he wouldn't sell the Khan. Vince McMahon wouldn't sell. I think. Um,
Ted
I
DiBiase
think.
did say everyone has a price though.
Yes. Yes, they do.
But
I
yeah, I
think.
mean, I think that's all we really got on Vince, and because there's no more news that has come out since that.
No, just that Comcast is like the leading one right now. They do sell. Vince could still turn around and say, "No, we're just going private, and I'm riding this ship till I die."
Yeah, I mean that could happen. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier. That they, that's why. That's why Shane left years ago as well. Shane had quit when he originally quit. He said because there was a rift between him and his dad, and it was ruining their relationship.
Yeah, because he's a fucking psycho and he cares more about WWE than anything else in the world.
Yes, he does.
He's got real emotional issues. Let's call it what it is. He's got problems. But I guess we can get into the shows for the past week. In some,
Yeah.
we don't got to go crazy with it because this week again was a build week. So I'm gonna run through some of the important things that happened on Monday Night Raw. We can give a quick take each and kind of move through it. Unless you got.
I think Vince's name will come up again because it reflects the way I've been looking at the shows.
Okay, all right. Of course it will come up again. I'm not even remotely surprised about that. So the show kicks off. Kevin Owens comes out, interrupted by Baron Corbin and JBL. Why? Stop it. We still don't care about Baron Corbin.
No, we don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
It's the J. Yeah, you can have your take in a minute. My take on the JBL KO match, it turned into a match, okay? So they were talking shit. Baron Corbin was basically saying that there's no way Kevin can beat Roman when literally the closest anyone has came to beating Roman was Kevin Owens. But anyway, they get into a match. KO wins. So it was more of a why. I mean, not why. It was to build KO. I understand that, but like, I don't know. My take on that part of the show is Baron Corbin still sucks. I only care about JBL, and why put him with JBL if he's just going to be a jobber?
I could give two shits about Baron Corbin.
Yes.
I would care more if he came out and was trying to dress like old JBL and tried to wrestle like him.
That would.
I think that'd be great. Yes, it would. And so, but here's the thing. I know why. I believe I know why Baron Corbin's with JBL. JBL, I watched the round table talk with JBL, Rey Mysterio,
did a table for three. Was it Kurt Angle?
No, somebody else. Booker T.
Oh, okay.
Booker T. And I guess they were talking about how they're like, these guys are much better than we were. In terms the newer generation goes, they're more athletic, they got more talent. But and it's funny that he said it because I had seen this. He goes, no one's asking us questions, and he's like, they want us to come tell them and stuff like that. I guess they're afraid to ask. He goes, these guys are doing more moves to supplement the lack of personality and emotion they can bring to a match.
Yes.
They're doing more in a match than we ever could, than we ever could. But we made up with it with emotion and attitude and everything that was supposed to made you care about the match. These guys are just doing more moves to supplement for the lack of it. And he goes, but you know who? And he goes, JBL goes, Baron Corbin is the only one that actually came up to me and he was asking intelligent matches, not just like, oh, how do you, get a crowd to boo you or something like that. He goes, how do you work with a smaller guy in a ring? And he's like, how does the psychology work in the match to, to get that pop and everything like that, and like to get them to, love the match and the ins and outs. And he goes, and Baron Corbin was asking like really good match questions. And I think that's when JBL said, I'll step in and work with you. But we just got a weird combination of a Texan and a guy who hit the jackpot and goddamn Vegas. And it's like, well, you guys don't even go together. It's just a weird, like, you guys don't even go together. Like I said, I think with his height and his athleticism, like, he could have been the next coming of JBL. He should have just started dressing like him.
Yeah.
And just started to, like, I think you bring him back into like this is how I would have done it. Kind of like, how Jay Lethal has made a name for himself by impersonating other people. Just do the whole JBL shit forever. Do the clothesline from hell, all the moves, dress like him, and then eventually, like a year down the line, JBL's like, listen, guy, you're doing great, but it's really time for you to step on your own and be you. Develop who you are. And then we get a whole new arc of Baron Corbin trying to figure out who he is. But now we just got this whole old shtick that no one gives a damn about.
No, yeah, it's tired, and I think the JBL experiment is over and not working, and it's not really JBL's fault. It's Baron Corbin's fault. I think they tried really hard, but let's not forget, never forget, the last man to put the tribal chief's shoulders on the mat for a 3 count was Baron Corbin.
How could we ever forget? It's all over the internet.
Listen, it is what it is. I hope he figures it out, because personally, I don't have anything against Baron Corbin. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about him, which is bad. I'd rather hate him. It's better if I hate him. But, after that, the Bloodline attacked KO, and that story progresses. I think, depending on who wins, if it's not Cody Rhodes, this match could steal the show at the Royal Rumble. KO versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, have you seen their other 3 matches?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's gonna be really good. He's another one. Kevin Owens has skyrocketed up my list, because when he's not there, I honestly do forget about him. But when he comes back, I fall in love with the guy. He's so good. He makes you feel. You can hate him, you can love him, but you feel about KO. It's awesome.
You do. And let's not, what's funny? Vince also delivered us those great trilogy of matches between him and Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah. He did.
Now, the only thing I was very happy to see go was the 3 matches where the person loses 3 matches in a row. I'm glad we haven't seen that in a while, where the person loses 3 matches in a row.
That does nothing for anybody. It's stupid.
It does nothing for anybody. It's like, why are they losing 3 matches in a row? And to this day, as cool as it was and the great moment it was utterly embarrassing for Seth Rollins to lose to Cody Rhodes 3 times in a row and then lose to a man with a torn pectoral muscle. That is the most embarrassing in a match with weapons. You lost to a man with a torn pectoral muscle. His chest was sagging.
And you know what the worst part is?
His chest was sagging.
We didn't give a damn. We still sang his song. We still wanted him to win. And then he won the U.S. title. It's like it didn't affect a guy like Seth Rollins.
Seth is too good.
There's only a handful of guys that can really take that on the chin and be okay. Seth Rollins, honestly, it was interesting. He looked better because he injured Cody Rhodes. Like, I feel like the loss wasn't the main point of that because of Hell in a Cell. I feel like nobody thinks about that. They just think about the injury. Like, I barely remember that Cody Rhodes won. Obviously he did, but like that moment is all that sticks in my mind. But
I agree with that, but it still sucks that he lost 3 in a row.
No, it does. But moving on in the show, Alexa did cut a promo saying how Uncle Howdy's not in control. I'm in control. I want to be this way. The same bullshit Bray Wyatt tried to pull. And then Howdy came out and confronted Alexa. Said, "Oh yeah? You think you're in control, do you?"
I'm very.
What?
I said I'm very interested to see where they go with this.
I am too. It will be good. I think we're gonna see a little more at the Rumble because we have this pitch black match between LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, which we talked about last time. But
I have no clue what to expect, and I'm in my head going, "Well, how does a pitch black match go down? Well, we won't be able to see anything."
I don't know what the terms of it are. Maybe it'll be like a black light. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. But
maybe it'll be like a black light. But what is a black light?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think you can do a black light.
No, you've never seen a black light before? It makes everything like purple.
Gotcha. Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's what they used when Edge started doing like the Judgment Day. I'm pretty sure
that's what I was getting ready to. That's what I was going to say. Like that. Like okay.
I think, but I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with the match or if it was an advertisement ploy because it's a Mountain Dew pitch black match and Mountain Dew has a new pitch black flavor, so it might just be that stupid. I don't know. I imagine it might be like no disqualifications as well based on how this is going, but I don't know.
It is. It says it's like a no disqualification, like anything. Oh, pitch black, anything goes match.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just gonna be a pre-show beat the hell out of each other. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Revel.
Yes.
Revel in what you know.
So speaking of Seth freaking Rollins, my homie, he had a match with Austin Theory, who is doing a wonderful job. Since doing his character change, which he desperately needed, he has been really good. He has actually been saying things where I'm like, oh my god, I can't stand this guy. He's actually been doing a nice job. Bobby Lashley had something to say about it. Theory ended up retaining the title, and now Lashley's back involved in all of this, and maybe the Hurt Business is returning. There was a little tease to that during the show. Did you have anything about that?
I hope Bobby doesn't wrestle Austin. I just want to see him and Bobby and Brock, just lead up to WrestleMania. That's it. That's pretty much it. I agree. I'm also worried for Theory because Theory has been great ever since. Theory has been great ever since he has this new turn of leave. So he's been great. Seth hurt. Yeah, we got a number of superstars out right now with injuries.
That injury was a work. Seth isn't actually hurt.
No, he's out to the Rumble. He said it's a minor injury. I thought.
No, I thought it was a work. I think he's.
It could be.
Yeah, no, because he danced on the way back. He threw his crutch to Theory and dipped.
But he is out to the Rumble. He said.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just not going to wrestle. I don't know.
I thought it was like, yeah, it's not as bad, but I'm just going to rest it to the Rumble type of thing.
Oh well, whatever.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, not the most important. Rhea Ripley beat Candice LeRae. I don't think Candice has won. Oh, she won one match and she's been back, but she's just been getting her ass beat. Another person that has just been getting their ass beat for the most part. Dolph Ziggler lost to Solo Sikoa in a no one was match.
I don't like Solo's Samoan Spike.
Why?
I don't think he does it as good as Umaga or like close to it. Like it doesn't look like he's actually hitting them with it. It looks like he's just hitting them like backwards thing. I like the Samoan Spike, but I like it done like right.
I think he had a couple bad ones. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it, but Dominic Mysterio was the main feature on Miz TV this week. And he talked about how prison changed him. Has a new outlook on life. He is meaner and tougher This is a new Dominic Mysterio, and he has a non-filled-in teardrop tattoo, which means he killed somebody. What the fuck is happening? This is all just.
love every minute of this. I love the teardrop. I love the teardrop. I love that the Miz said to him, "I heard you were out within hours of county jail."
Yeah. And it was very weird, but it's funny. I will say this is probably the most entertaining Dominic has been his entire time in WWE, so good for him. I'm actually enjoying him and Rhea. That dynamic is very funny. His sketches with Ray have been great. But that led into tag team turmoil, which very interestingly was for the number one contendership for not the unified, but the Raw tag team championships, which hints to me that they're planning on breaking those up at some point.
It's kind of crazy. So I'm torn between this because when we get to SmackDown, this is the rest of the matches throughout the night, right?
Yes.
And so the Judgment Day won. So now they're going to challenge for the Raw, which is cool. All right. And so now there's a tournament to determine the SmackDown number one contenders for the SmackDown tag team titles. I'm all for it. I would love the titles to be split up before WrestleMania, but I don't want it to be because I think it takes away. If Sami and KO are not the first ones to beat the Usos for the tag team titles, it takes a little bit of that luster away when they do it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that they're going to be split up. It'll be interesting. But the Judgment Day did end up winning. They beat the OC pretty handily, which is again, the OC has just been losing. Then they beat Cedric and Shelton, which is another hint towards the Hurt Business getting back together. They look pretty decent. I like Cedric Alexander. I get why he couldn't be pushed by himself because he's too small and his personality is mid as fuck. But him and Shelton Benjamin as a tag team, I like them a lot. Especially you throw them in with Bobby Lashley and MVP. I like the Hurt Business. Then the Judgment Day beat the Alpha Academy, which whatever. Otis and Chad Gable are just there having fun, living life, and that's just what they are.
They understand that. Yes. They understand that. They understand their role and they're okay with it. And I think that's great.
Yeah, and will they get another tag team championship together? I think it's possible. They are popular enough where I think that could work out. Not now. They're not going to obviously take it off the Usos or anything like that. But down the line,
they're selling shirts and getting moments. They're selling shirts and getting moments. Chad Gable's got a moment with Gabe Stevenson at WrestleMania. He had a great opening match at WrestleMania 38. I mean,
he got milked by Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I mean, he's got memories. When people look back on the WWE, there's no doubt that they'll see Chad Gable in one memory or not.
No one feels bad for Chad Gable and Otis right now. Everybody's very okay with them and what's going on. Now
Otis is, sitting there with Mandy Rose spending her fans-only money. He's definitely got a subscription.
Oh,
he's definitely got.
He does. He's like, I know it was a storyline, but I need to see this. The best part of this match, and what I really paid attention to, so Finn Balor ended up hurting his ribs in the match, right? So Dominic Mysterio ended up tagging with Priest halfway through. So,
I was surprised that could happen. I was really thrown off by that. I was like,
it was a weird where WWE, the rules are suggestions. I noticed that lately. I be sitting there, I'm like, what, are there 3 rules in a WWE match? That's it? There used to be so many rules that they would take care of and follow, and now there's 3. The pin, the submission, and the rope break, and that is count out. There's 4. But
when they want to count out,
right?
I've seen referees just stand there and not even start to count.
It's wild, and you don't see referees telling anybody to open their hands up anymore. You know what when they're throwing bunts, open your hand, come on, that's a little thing that I thought referees were really good at back in the day. Now referees, I think besides Charles Robinson,
have Kyoto.
And right, okay. There's a group that are good, right? But the young ones, the newer ones, are emotionless. there's those two girls that I'm just kind of like, Jessica Carr, I will say, has gotten a lot better, but we're not here to break down referee's performance. I'm sorry. But the Street Profits versus the Judgment Day was a really good match. I thought the Street Profits should have won. I kind of get why they did it, because I don't think they want to do Usos versus Street Profits again, and I get it. But the Judgment Day ended up pulling it off. And I know I'd been shitting on Damian Priest, but he looked really good during this. He was in that match for an hour plus. He looked good. And the Street Profits did as well. They did.
They always look good.
Yeah, they were just who they are.
Angelo Dawkins is continuing to show people that he's not something to be slept on compared to Montez Ford. That he can be just as athletic.
He was until the injury, and then that injury set Montez Ford back. And now I feel like they're on a lot more even ground because Montez Ford lost a lot of momentum. Like, he was hot before he got hurt.
I mean, but Dawkins is real hot. He's not as hot. But it's
now I'd say he is.
Angelo Dawkins?
Before we were talking about Montez Ford. Now we're talking about the Street Profits, and I think that's
significant.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm saying, but I also think Dawkins got a lot better. Like, he's looking good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they're on the same level now where we talk about them equally. We're not just talking about Montez. We're talking about them both now.
Yeah. I really hope they get another title reign.
They will. I think unless they decide they really, really want to push Montez Ford, I think they're a forever tag team. I think they're one of those.
Yeah, I'm down for it, and I think if we do split it up before Mania, they should be the ones who win those Raw Tag Team titles or win them at Mania.
So I think what'll happen is if Montez Ford gets a world title run, it'll be a Royal Rumble or a Money in the Bank where they don't have to break up the Street Profits, because in those two situations, there doesn't necessarily have to be friction with Dawkins. But if you want to push Montez by himself on a run, then it's more likely there needs to be a separation.
Yeah.
So, but
I want to add something real quick about referees, and then it's a quick one, and we're going to move. Yep. Other than Charles Robinson, which is the blonde-haired one, right?
Yes.
The best referee in the game right now between AEW and WWE is the female referee. The female lead referee over at AEW is awesome. What is her name?
Okay.
What is her name?
I don't know.
Take a look at her. She does her job great. She brings a lot of emotion to the match. And also, why do they count? Why do they tell the wrestlers to get off the top rope when they go up there? Like,
because technically you're not allowed to be on the ropes at all.
Yeah, so old school wrestling, not supposed to just be in the center of the circle wrestling.
Correct. Oh, chat, thank you so much. Truth, you hooked us up. The name of the referee you were looking for, Aubrey Edwards.
Aubrey Edwards is awesome. She is a phenomenal referee, and she brings a lot of passion and emotion to matches, especially if there isn't any in there. She is good, and like the crowd loves her too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, she's good at her job. She's outside of Charles Robinson, she is the best referee I'm seeing right now. Because Kyoto's not refereeing anymore, and she's a solid referee. And like AEW's got some good key points going forward right now. They got homegrown. They got her as a referee. They got the Acclaimed, which is great right now. They got who else do they got who's homegrown? You know, Darby Allin is, MJF. And then they got MJF.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was. That was it. They got like and really the Acclaimed it's the Acclaimed and MJF that's leading the charge from their homegrown people.
Yeah,
that are just
huge. Darby Allin is the TNT champ now.
Yeah, Darby Allin, and then like that referee is like people forget how important a referee's job really is in a match.
Yes, and I think it's easy to take it for granted, right? Because we're watching the two people wrestling, but you notice it when it's not there. When you don't have, Truth was talking about Earl Hebner. When you don't have an Earl Hebner, you don't have a Charles Robinson, you don't have a Mike Chioda, you don't have guys.
Is Earl still ref? Is Earl still reffing? I think he's repping Spotly. Like every now and then he'll come out. I think he's doing a show coming up, but he's not like refereeing like here and there. Earl, everybody loved Earl.
Earl
There's nothing
Hebner's
you can
one
say
of the
about Earl.
greats. Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
the reason I didn't mention Earl Hebner is because he's been gone for so long from WWE. Even though I think he was reffing over in TNA, but I like Kyoto. Like once Earl left, the standard was Kyoto. Then it was Charles Robinson.
Yeah.
And then and so like Kyoto's gone. Like Kyoto, people were asking Kyoto to do their matches when Earl was still around.
Yeah.
So
I was always a Kyoto guy as well. I loved Earl Hebner, but Mike Kyoto was my favorite. He was the one that made me recognize referees, and then after that, it was Charles Robinson. I didn't learn who Earl Hebner was for a while.
Yeah, Earl's pretty good.
He's good. Oh yeah.
What gets me, you judge your referee based on their false 2 count.
Yes.
People who what's the girl's name? The girl from AEW I was talking about.
Aubrey Edwards.
She's down here and then she dives out on the back, and so it looks like it's a real false one. Any ref who's 1, 2, and then they're they don't even get to you gotta sell it with your belly, or you at least gotta tuck it in.
Yeah.
Some people they're 1, 2, and they're 2, and I'm like,
make it look like you're about to call the fall, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look like you're about to call the fall, and so they didn't do that. Oh, Kyoto, the first time I noticed Kyoto was Ric Flair, because of Ric Flair.
Woo!
Batista kicked out at WrestleMania 21 of Triple H, wherever he hit, and then all you hear is Ric Flair go, "Out to 3, Kyoto, god damn it!" He's and then all you hear is go, "Kyoto!" And he yells it mad hard. All you hear is Kyoto, and then that name stuck with me. And then I started watching Kyoto, and I was like, "Oh, he's a good ref.
Yeah,
he's a goddamn good ref." And the best special guest referee of all time is Shawn Michaels.
You sure it's not Double J Jeff Jarrett?
That's good ref. WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 28, that Hell in a Cell match.
What about Mike Tyson?
I'm talking about who brought emotion to the damn match. But let's move on. So SmackDown starts off. I don't have the rest of the spread, so you tell me the rest of it. But SmackDown starts off with Braun Strowman and Gunther. What a hell of a run Gunther is having as an IC title, as an IC champion. You didn't like the match?
I don't like Braun Strowman.
Hey, that crowd was getting behind him, which shows me that Gunther's doing his damn good job. I thought it was a good match. Was it match of the year quality? No. But for a Braun Strowman match, hey, it was good. It was decent. It was brutal. Yo, Braun hit Gunther with some crazy head clotheslines, and Gunther hit Braun with a clothesline that I thought was you thought the Sheamus clothesline was bad. This one was bad.
Well, there are certain times where we know Braun Strowman is to say enthusiastic would be an understatement sometimes. He's a stiff worker, and he earns receipts a lot. Something that's been popping up on my timeline a lot lately is when he kneed Brock too hard, and Brock held his head and punched him square in the head.
And then told him to slow the fuck down?
Yeah. And it's stuff like that. I think maybe Braun earned himself a receipt from Gunther in this match. That might have happened.
It could have, but Gunther's just a stiff worker, though.
Well, that's the thing. Stiff. It's
that clothesline was awesome. He hit him so goddamn hard where I was like, damn, if he pinned him, I believe it. You know what I'm saying? If he pinned him right now with the 3, I believe it. I'd be like, yeah. No man should get the hell up after that clothesline.
Well, that was JBL's clothesline from hell. Those clotheslines were unbelievable. Nobody hit poor Mae Young.
He tried to kill people with his clothesline.
No, he did.
He was swinging for the fences. But
he would eject himself full weight and just bang. Oh, I never realized. So I've talked about my WWE rewatch. I just finished Vengeance 2004, which Eugene needs to be talked about more as an unacceptable character. But
Zach's going to a show where Eugene will be wrestling Val Venus.
Where is this? Is
New Jersey.
Oh, I probably won't go to that. But yeah, not good. Eugene, not good. When I was a kid, I thought he actually had a disability, but he's just a
We
regular
all
guy.
did.
Yeah,
We
bad,
all did.
not good. I don't even remember what the hell we were talking. Vengeance. Okay, my rewatch. And no, what we were talking about before that though.
You just talked about your rewatch. We were talking about Gunther. I was talking about how hard hitting
JBL.
that match was and how I thought it was a
I
good
didn't
match.
realize how big JBL was
Oh,
until
the clothesline from.
yes, I didn't realize how big he really was until I just watched this match. Him versus Eddie Guerrero at it wasn't Vengeance because Vengeance was Raw. Anyway, it was the pay per view before that. Oh my
What type
god!
of match was it?
What? It was
What
for the
type of match was it?
WWE title, and Eddie got himself disqualified.
No, that I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, he was just so big in a mean clothesline. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big country boy. But yeah, solid match. I thought the finish it would have been good, but Gunther's power bombs, I feel like you can tell he's trying to protect his opponent.
That's what I felt like. Like holy fuck, get a sentence out, Jesus. When we were talking about Clash at the Castle, I mentioned that I didn't like his power bombs, and you said it fit the story, which it did.
For that time, it did because he keeps laying on his butt.
But it's still happening.
Yeah, I don't know why it's happening because when he was in NXT UK, was that powerbomb vicious?
I think losing the weight might.
He's just trying to work. He's probably just trying to work safer because he's up on the main roster.
I don't know.
I mean, because it's like, don't get me going about the weight because you had to convince me that it wouldn't change his style.
Well, it might have a little bit.
That powerbomb used to be vicious, and now it's just like
he damn near killed Pete Dunne and Ilya Dragunov. Damn near killed them both.
He definitely took years off their life.
Dragunov especially.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like the powerbomb, but hey, I wish like I said, he should have just clotheslined him. But hell, good match. Good match. That's all I got to say. Gunther delivered a good match and started to show up. What was next, Shake?
Rey Mysterio and Karrion Kross had a little mix-up. They've been going back and forth again. Don't really care.
I loved Rey's mask. I loved Rey's mask there.
What?
I loved Rey's mask.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not. Listen. He's the drip god of masks. And, like, Penta has some cool ones. And, who's the guy? Excalibur has some cool ones. The AEW announcer. But, like...
Yeah.
I think Rey Mysterio overall, just because they're always like nice and clean looking, has the best masks in history. It's just
does. Did I ever send you that? I did send you that video of Rey Mysterio salsa dancing.
Yeah, he was wasted, right? Was it Charlotte's wedding?
I don't know. Was it? I
think it was at Charlotte's wedding.
That makes sense. He was salsa dancing, and I was like, "Where the hell was he?"
I think it was at Charlotte's wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, he was dancing. And I was like, "Who got a video of this?" What was it? But last night I sent you a text message of Rey Mysterio, and I go, "Oh, he looks kind of chunky in this in this mask." Where did I send it to you on? Because you remember the way he looked chunky as hell.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
Trying to find out where it was that I sent it on because it was funny.
Yeah, I don't think I texted back, but I was going to, but I forgot. I remember what I was going to text you, though.
you did, because you said something about his metabolic.
Oh, yeah, I said because he's getting old. The metabolism ain't what it used to be. I said,
yeah.
Well, it was honestly because he was in a boot for a couple months, and I think that's part of it.
Well, when he looks, I think it was just the way I took the picture, because when he's talking, it didn't look like that. But it's kind of funny. This feud would have been okay, but it's been dragging on. It's like, all right.
It's because he was hurt. The weird thing was he did the thing with Gunther, and then he got called out, but he was hurt. He got called out by Cross, but then he got hurt, so it was like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do?
He got hurt on an indie show, I think, in a mixed tag match.
Yeah.
Not an indie, like a live show.
Yeah.
But yes, then it was like, this thing is like, what are you doing? What's going on here?
And then Scarlett and Emma had a tussle backstage, and like, it was weird. I don't know.
Yeah. But we'll move on from that.
And then something else we're going to move on from rather quickly. Tegan Knox beat Xia Li. Nothing else to say there.
I heard that match was like 2 minutes, if that.
Yeah, it wasn't. So, of all the things like that the women's division needs, they didn't need freaking Tegan Knox. Xia Li I actually kind of like, but like Tegan Knox.
I think they're just filling it up so they could actually have 30 women in the Royal Rumble.
I think that's a large part of it, yes. Like, okay, so super quick. We're talking about SmackDown Women's Division. Does she come up again? She does not. Okay, so I'll bring her up now. We were taking a little holiday break. We did a live show, but we took a little holiday break. Charlotte Flair comes back and wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. Not that I'm upset Ronda lost. I'm not. I'm actually very happy about that. What I don't like is coming back and the night you come back, you win. I think that's dumb. Like, I get it. It's Charlotte Flair. I get it. It was Becky Lynch. But, like, to me, I'd rather see them return, beat the hell out of somebody and saying, I'm coming for you, as opposed to getting somebody while they're either caught off guard or weak and stealing the title. Like, I get it. It's a story. It's just like, to me, I'd rather see a build than just like, that was clearly, I think there's things going on behind the scenes with Ronda Rousey because she is just taking an absolute nosedive. And it doesn't seem to be character work. Maybe it is, but
I think I heard there, which is funny, I texted you on a list of WrestleMania matches.
Yeah.
When I gave you my WrestleMania match, I texted you that list and I had on there Ronda and Ronda what's her name? What's her damn name?
What?
What's that girl's?
Shayna.
Ronda and
Shayna.
Yeah, Shayna Baszler versus Damage Control.
I did see that. Yes.
And I heard Ronda say that she wanted to go for the tag titles.
She does. Yep.
She said she's done with Charlotte. She doesn't really want to. She wants to go for the tag titles. So we could be getting that.
Whatever. Don't care. And that was it. That wasn't it. Raquel Rodriguez beat Liv Morgan. It was another build for Raquel towards the title. It seems like we're going towards Charlotte versus Raquel, which I think will be cool. I want Charlotte to go queen bitch again because that is my favorite version of Charlotte. I don't like when she plays for the crowd and is nice, and I don't like it.
It has to be because no matter who the only way Charlotte stays babyface
was against
she's
Ronda.
Not. She's not because we're gonna get Charlotte's gonna be defending her title against either Rhea or Bianca. And I believe it should be Becky. I think we should finish this rivalry at WrestleMania between those two women.
That would be
amazing. I think it would be huge.
I would love to see Becky versus Charlotte.
I think it'd be huge. If I had on my list, the way I book it, I know a lot of people are talking about Charlotte versus Bianca and Rhea versus Becky. I think those are two great, but I think if you reverse it, you get big. I think no one's big like Bianca and Rhea are so big right now, and if you let them clash, don't miss out on an opportunity. Don't wait until you have what you did with Batista and Cena, where it fizzled out, where it wasn't as big as it could have been. Do it at the right time.
Yeah.
Do it at the right time where these two, where it could be a mega star match. And then you don't need to do anything like Becky versus Charlotte. The rivalry, like these two have such a rivalry, and let it end at WrestleMania. It sells itself. It could be just as big as as Rhea versus Bianca, if not bigger.
Yeah.
Like like the timing's right for both of it, and I think you should do it. Could you imagine these four women trying to outclass each other?
No,
They're trying to
that would
outclass these 4 women trying to fight to have the best women's match of the night, or forget that, just
all
to have the
time
best match of the night.
have the best women's match of all time potentially.
Yes, yes. Like I think that's what should be done. If I had to book it, that's how I'd book it.
I think
I
we're
think it's
the
cool if
women's
you do it the
division.
other way.
The
I think
women's
it's cool if you
division
do it
right
the other way, but it's just not as big.
No, yeah, the women's division right now going into WrestleMania is the best at the top I think it's been in a long time. Probably since you had the 4 horsewomen first on the main roster, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so moving forward.
The last match, Sammy versus KO to a no contest. It's building. It's very interesting. I'll let you take that lead though.
We're seeing the bits in the story break down. Sammy was upset that they interfered in the match versus him and Kevin. Kevin said he was done with Sammy 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden now, Kevin's coming to his rescue and like defending him against Roman, and he's not done with him now. It's building up. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen, and they're teasing it. They're teasing it now. They're teasing it because this is the second time they've teased it.
Yeah. I think it's exciting, and it's definitely going to happen very soon.
I don't know. People are talking about the Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns match at Elimination Chamber. Maybe. I don't know if we should do that. Maybe. I guess maybe. Like, how would you do that? How would you do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Someone in chat said, could Karrion Kross win the Rumble? I think that's a 0% negative, my good friend. I think we think on this show firmly it will be Cody Rhodes. I genuinely don't think it'll be anybody. Maybe Sami Zayn. Those are the only 2 people I could see winning the men's Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn.
I'm going to tell you how I'd book it. I'd have 2 winners. I have 2 winners. Toes hit the ground at the same time. They go to eliminate each other, and toes hit the same time. You know who would be? Rock and Cody. They go to eliminate each other, and their toes hit the ground at the exact same time. And instead of doing the John Cena Batista where we restart it, they just go for separate titles. Just go for separate titles.
I like that.
And Roman wrestles Rock night 1, Roman versus Cody night 2. The only issue with that is it's a big risk. Because if Roman gets hurt night 1, you're screwed for night 2.
Right. And, well, he's not wrestling Brock Lesnar, so that helps.
So, I think it'd be the biggest thing in history. Like, hell, if I was Hunter, I'd book it because you don't know if you're going to be in charge next year. Go out on your shield. Go out blazing glory and just go, fuck you, Vince. Try to top this ever.
I honestly think Triple H could book the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Especially because he has 2 nights.
Yeah, if Vince lets him.
Yeah, fair enough. But, I mean, that's all we really got on this week, The things are going to heat up more and more as we get closer to the Rumble. We're getting more qualification matches every week, which is kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. It gives these mid-carders something to make us care about, I guess, because they can't really do it. If Vince McMahon enters the Royal Rumble at 30 and wins, I may shoot myself where I stand. But
don't worry about that. Vince would die if he entered the Royal Rumble. He would have to win because if you eliminated him from the Rumble, he would die, and he'd probably blow out both his knees getting into the Rumble like he did in 2005.
Bro, could you imagine? Yo, Truth is going wild in chat right now. He wins and then sells the company live at WrestleMania. That's actually fucking hilarious, bro. Truth, that was funny. Good point, my man. If you want to hang out again with us next Saturday, we're here every Saturday. We always love opinions and funny comments in chat. Thanks for hanging out, Truth. We really do appreciate you, homie. You gonna say something?
Shake. I will before we close out. So just so happens, Zach sent me that card. Randomly sent me that card that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And so we got Alpha Jr. versus Snitsky.
Oh no!
Carlito versus Val Venus.
Let's go.
Dirty Dango, which is Fandango versus Eugene. Bull and James versus Rick and whoever that is, I can't even see. With Earl Hebner as the referee.
Let's go. What a show. But yeah, that's all we got this week. We'll be back again next Saturday. As always, thank you guys so much. Like, follow, subscribe on our YouTube. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.